Welcome guys to my second video in my question and answer theory series. This is a series where I take theory questions that were asked of me and address them directly. Since the first episode in this series, I haven't actually decided yet what the best medium is for these questions, so I am still taking them as asks on my Tumblr page. By the time the next one rolls around though, I will have come up with a more dedicated method of submitting me these questions. Unlike last time, I will be showing some usernames in this video, as pretty much everyone who didn't ask anonymously gave me permission to use their name. We did 10 last time, and it ended up running quite a bit longer than I wanted it to, so we're going to be doing 6 this time, and we'll see how long that pans out to be. Hopefully it won't be too long, and hopefully it won't be too short either. Anyway, moving on to the first question. What do you think about the Connie has gem ancestry theory? It's most based around A, her fusing with Steven, and B, that one background gem in the answer that has an uncanny resemblance to Dr. Maheshwar. I'm not 100%, but I guess it could be a possibility. If you already talked about this, sorry to bother. First of all, don't ever worry about sending me duplicate questions. I don't mind that at all. I may tell you that it's a duplicate question and direct you to where I answered it otherwise rather than answer it again, but I don't have an issue with that. Even for like my general ask box, I don't have a problem with that. That said, I detest everything that has to do with this theory. I think it's the worst Steven Universe theory anyone's ever come up with. First of all, none of the gems in the answer resembled any existing characters except for the one that was clearly meant to be Lapis, as it showed her gem placement and gem shape, as well as the silhouette of her wearing her current clothing. The gems in that episode were so incredibly simplified that there's no way of telling what their specific details are supposed to be. That said, it wasn't just any gem in the answer that some people were equating to Connie, it was Blue Diamond, and we know now that Blue Diamond looks nothing like Connie. On top of that, the crew has said multiple times that Steven is supposed to be the first gem-human hybrid. So this theory can only be true if they're outright lying to us, which I don't think they would do. And even on top of that, it would undermine Connie's entire character arc. The entire point is that she is Steven's strongest link to the human world, who is not a direct member of his family. Not only that, but she has come to be sort of a bridge to the gem world for Greg. Someone that he can relate to more than even his own son in some ways. Those are important aspects of Connie's character, and her relationships with other characters. To make her a gem would be to take that away. And that's just something the story's not going to do. AJ, I'm asking this for a friend because I'm bad at explaining even the simplest things. I'm sure you're not, but I'll answer it anyway. I would like you to answer for me on how gem data is stored onto their gem and how their body is created from them. Mainly how their body is projected from it. Thank you. You're welcome in advance. The best I can figure is that the gemstone itself is sort of a hardened liquid hard drive kind of thing. It's something that we kind of have an analogous technology to now, where data is stored in a liquid medium rather than a solid one. And it's incredibly efficient, it's just we haven't come very far with the technology yet. Theoretically, gems would be made from something kind of like that, a liquid that has data stored on it, information stored on it in a certain pattern, injected into the ground, and then it hardens in the ground and forms the gemstone itself. And so the data would be kind of evenly distributed throughout the entire gem. And yet somehow that gem also has a power source in it. We know that from statements made by Pearl, and the ability to arrange light into patterns that mimic actual matter, both of which are beyond our technological limits at this time, but not theoretically impossible. It would have to be technology that forms inside the gemstone as the gemstone is hardening, which means they have some way of programming that liquid to take on specific shapes as it forms. But that would mean even the mechanisms that allow the gem to do that would have information stored within the material that makes them up. It's really interesting, and I don't have a full knowledge of the science behind it, so I'm not the best person to speak on it. But scientifically speaking, it's a really interesting idea. Probably not something that the human race will ever be advanced enough to be able to do, but it's interesting nonetheless. To get a little bit more specific in how the gems create their bodies, we've actually managed to do something similar to this on a very small scale. They are able to cause particles of light to interact with each other and behave as if they are actual matter. While the gem's body is there, it is essentially real matter. It's a real body, but it's still made of light rather than actual atoms or molecules. So the moment that the technology that has arranged the light like that stops affecting it, the body just disappears. Well, it doesn't disappear. It becomes regular light again and disperses as light would. I'm not sure where I found that original link to the study that something like this has been done, but I will try to find it again, and if I can, I'll leave a link in the description. Why do you think that Peridot and Jasper showed up in such a massive ship with only 3 gems in it? The roaming eye seems to carry more gems and be more suitable for the objective that Peridot was going on. I know they used the warship for build-up, as a puny roaming eye wouldn't have been intimidating, and that they wanted to keep the villain's numbers small at first. But what do you think is the canonical reason for the 3 gems showing up in a ship that is diamond-sized? There are a couple misconceptions in here, I'll get to those in a second. Keep in mind, though, that one of those 3 gems was Lapis and she was a prisoner, Maybe they don't have any smaller prison ship. Which brings us to the first misconception in this question, that Peridot's ship was a warship. I don't think it was. I think it was a prison ship. Something that they probably don't have a whole lot of use for, since it seems like any gem that steps out of line is shattered. Maybe they were built back when the war was pretty freshly over and Homeworld was worried that they need a lot of them, and so they built them big in case of another rebellion, and that there just isn't a smaller option for a ship with holding cells. The other misconception here is that it was a diamond-sized ship. It wasn't. It was nowhere near as big as the diamond ships. First of all, it's only the hand. The diamond ships have the arms, which makes them objectively larger in just the scale of what body part they represent. But also, if you look at the diamond ships next to the very large Zoo space station, it's clear that even the hand parts of the diamond ships, at least in that shot, it could change based on the different scale later, because scaling in Steven Universe is weird. Based on that one shot, even the hand part of the diamond ships are much larger than Peridot's ship was. Hey AJ, do you believe there is a religion cult that worships the diamonds on Earth? Because we have seen a lot of diamond imagery replacing religious symbols on objects on Earth. And if you do you think we'll ever get to see it? Probably not the diamonds specifically, because the symbol that we see a lot isn't actually the symbol that's associated with the diamonds. It's just a symbol of a gemstone that happens to represent a real diamond. There is a difference between that gemstone shape, that traditional shot of a diamond from the side, and the diamond insignia. If it were the diamonds themselves, you think they probably would use the diamond insignia, or even that typical rhombus diamond, to indicate that to us, the audience. So I doubt it's the diamond specifically, but I bet you somewhere, at some point in time in the past of Steven's Earth, did worship gems, without fully understanding what they were, did worship gems. And I would really like to see that, if that's the case. I'd like to see some canon acknowledgement of that fact. As to whether or not I think we will ever see that, I really have no idea. Could Steven be becoming Bloodstone? Let me explain. In Ronaldo said that his gemsona was a human that had gem shards in the bloodstream. So that got me thinking, what if Steven is only getting stronger because his body is consuming Rose's gem? So if you pull it out, the tip at the end would be gone. But I don't think Rose would be able to form, or at least not properly. There was no tip at the end. Her gemstone is symmetrical on both sides. We saw that in the most recent Steven bomb when we saw the other bubbled rose quartzes. That said, Steven does have a human body with a human bloodstream. If chunks of gem were floating around in his bloodstream, he would be dead. Period. They would be too large, they would tear up his bloodstream, and he would die. We all know Lapis was trapped in a mirror, but why specifically a mirror? And, assuming Lapis was cracked after all the roses were bubbled, does that mean that Homeworld doesn't have any tech or gem made for healing damaged gems apart from roses? Or was healing a power specific to our Rose? Or did they not want to heal Lapis because they thought that she was a crystal gem? Hopefully that made sense, and I love your YouTube videos. Thank you very much. Made perfect sense. Actually, I get questions similar to this a lot. I'll start with the second part of that question. We actually see the moment that Lapis was cracked. It was as all of the gems were leaving Earth, all of the Homeworld gems. She wasn't cracked before she was put in the mirror, and she wasn't cracked at any point when they were trying to use the mirror to question her. So Homeworld wouldn't have had a chance to heal her. As for why the crystal gems never tried to heal her, it's because gems that are used in objects aren't typically sentient. They didn't think she was a sentient gem, or else they probably would have just to try to find out who she was. They probably would have taken her to Rose's fountain and dipped her in the water just to see what would happen. Assuming that the moment that they realized she was sentient, they didn't try to bubble her. As for whether or not they have technology to heal gems, I doubt it. I mean, Eyeball, even in modern times, even in the modern times of the show, seemed very impressed and almost reverent of the ability to heal gems, and spoke of it as if it was only Rose's power, our Rose. So I don't think there are any other gems other than her who ever figured out how to heal gems. As for why Lapis was trapped in a mirror specifically, it's because that mirrors of that type are designed to show images, specifically images of recorded gem history, but I think Homeworld probably hoped that if they plugged a crystal gem into the mirror, that might be able to help them force that gem to display the information that they wanted. And that is 6 questions, so that's all we're going to be doing for today. The time on the recording looks pretty good. Guys, what did you think of any of these theories as they were presented here today? Let's get a discussion going in the comment section down below, and of course, you can head on over to my Tumblr page to leave me asks for the next video of this type. Just be sure to include in the ask somewhere whether or not the question is in fact for the video. Otherwise, I'll just answer it normally. If you don't give me permission to use your name, even if you don't ask anonymously, I will black out your name in the video. Either way though, this has been AJ22, and I will talk to you guys later.